Today we are diving deep into the world of rays. And I can promise you, it is so much more than that one image you probably have in your head. There's this whole world of bizarre, beautiful, and just absolutely massive creatures that we're about to meet.
So let's try a little experiment. When I say stingray, what's the first thing that pops into your mind? I'm willing to bet it's something like this, right? A classic, flat, diamond-shaped animal just kind of gliding over a shallow, sandy bottom in some beautiful, crystal-clear water. Am I close?
Well, you're not wrong. That image is totally real. But thinking that's all there is to it, well, it's like reading the first page of an epic book and thinking you know how the whole thing ends. The reality of the ray family is so much bigger, so much stranger, and way more diverse. All right, let's start with that classic image. This right here is the southern stingray. You could almost call it the unofficial ambassador for the whole group, mostly thanks to tourist hotspots like Stingray City, where these guys have actually learned to hang out with people.
So this is our baseline, our Model T of stingrays, if you will. It's got that perfect diamond-shaped disc, which can get up to 1.5 meters wide. It hunts by basically smothering things like crabs and worms under its body, and then using this super powerful mouth on its underside to suck them up. Oh, and while it's buried in the sand, it breathes through these cool little openings on top of its head called spiracles. And that famous spine, that's pure defense. It's only used when the ray feels seriously threatened.
Okay, now that we have our baseline, let's completely shatter it. It is time to meet the true heavyweights of the ray world.
The jump in scale here is just mind-boggling. I mean, our southern stingray is a respectable size for sure, but then you meet something like the short-tail stingray. This one lives in the cooler waters around Australia and New Zealand, and it's pretty much considered the heaviest stingray on the planet, clocking in at up to 350 kilograms. That is a 7-fold increase in weight.
But even that seems small when you look at this number. 7 meters. That is the maximum wingspan of the oceanic manta ray. To put that into perspective for you, that's wider than a delivery truck is long. It's an animal that just completely resets your whole sense of scale.
And what's so amazing is that this colossal animal, literally the largest ray on Earth, is a total gentle giant. It doesn't even have a venomous spine. It survives by filter feeding, just gracefully gliding through the open ocean with its huge mouth open, eating some of the smallest critters in the sea, tiny little zooplankton.
So we've seen how rays can break the rules when it comes to size. But what about how they behave, or where they live? Well, it turns out a lot of rays just don't follow the rules we might expect them to.
Yeah, think about it. We've kind of set up these unwritten rules, haven't we? Rays live on the sandy bottom, they live in salt water, and they have a venomous sting, right? Well, let's see how many of those rules are just made to be broken. First up to bat is the pelagic stingray. Now, while pretty much every other stingray we know of lives on or near the seafloor, this one leads a completely different kind of life. This ray lives its life more like a tuna. Its entire existence is out in the open ocean water column, often hundreds of miles from any coast. Its color is even different, a deep violet purple on its top and bottom, which would be terrible camouflage on the seafloor, but makes perfect sense out in the deep blue.
Okay, so living in the open ocean, that's one thing. But what about leaving the ocean entirely? Let's meet a whole family of rays that did exactly that.
So here's what's so incredible. Millions of years ago, a group of marine stingrays down in South America basically got trapped in river systems, and over evolutionary time, they adapted. Today, this whole family of rays lives exclusively in the freshwater rivers of the Amazon basin. They never, ever go back to the sea. So rays defy our expectations on size and where they live. But things get even weirder and more interesting when we look at their unique adaptations. Some of them have evolved tools and techniques that are just wonderfully strange.
Take the porcupine ray, for example. Instead of just having that one spine on its tail for defense, its entire back is covered in these sharp, non-venomous thorns. It's basically a swinging shield. These things are actually modified scales, making it a very, very uncomfortable meal for any would-be predator. And then there's just the sheer beauty of some of these animals. This quote perfectly captures the blue-spotted ribbon-tail ray. I mean, it is one of the most visually stunning fish in the ocean. Underwater photographers absolutely love this thing, and for obvious reasons. Those electric blue spots are just unreal.
Now this is just a masterclass in adaptation. The mangrove whipray hunts in these super murky, tangled swamps where using your eyes is completely useless. So what does it do?
It uses a sixth sense, electroreception, to pick up the tiny little electrical fields given off by the muscles of hidden prey. This lets it hunt with absolute pinpoint accuracy, even when it can't see a thing.
Okay, for our next specialist, I just want you to look at this number, 6. What on earth could that possibly be referring to? It's the number of gill slits. You see, almost every single shark and ray on the entire planet has 5 pairs of gill slits. But the 6-gill stingray, this rare deep-water creature, it has 6. This is what we call a primitive trait. It's a holdover from an ancient body plan, which makes this animal a true living fossil, a little relic from a completely different era of evolution.
And the most amazing thing is that this story is far from finished. You know, our understanding of ray diversity isn't some old, dusty chapter in a textbook. It's a field of science that's unfolding right now as we speak.
Right now, scientists estimate there are over 220 different species of stingray. But honestly, even that number is almost certainly out of date the second we say it.
And that number is growing because the genetic tools we have today are revealing this incredible hidden diversity. What we once thought was just one species spread out over a huge area turns out to be a whole complex of multiple, distinct species, each with its own little home range and its own unique story.
Which really just leaves us with one final tantalizing thought. If we're still discovering so much about these incredible animals, what other secrets, what other giants and specialists and rule breakers are still out there, gliding unseen in the depths of our oceans?